Haji and Surfer Clock. Oh, what a celebration! It's what's the attraction, with their walk is your vacation. Surfer Clock smiled as he spoke.
Tap G, old bean, do you remember when we went to Universal the first week of last December? There at Islands of Adventure, the land of Dr. Seuss, with all those kiddie rides, the architecture all curvy and loose. We felt like kids again. We'd sing and raise our voice. Let's review something there.
Dude, it's pronounced Soyce.
Whatever,
he groaned.
I really don't care. I want to review a ride over there. The tall, mischievous feline, a bit dignified at that, in his colorful smokestack topper.
Oh, you mean the Cat in the Hat?
Yes, the silly little trip, promising fun every minute.
I promised I'd ride as long as Mike Myers isn't in it. But did this wobulous spin live up to its hype, or was it too full of true fuffulous tripe? Does it stand up to sniffle-faced cynics? Here's Tap G and Surfer Clock, your favorite park critics.
Okay, that was weird.
So, Cat in the Hat?
Oh yeah! See, back in the 90s, when Universal Studios was planning a next-door neighbor park, Islands of Adventure, one of the original concepts was to have a land dedicated to the works of Dr. Theodore Seuss Geisel, a.k.a. Dr. Seuss. And of course a ride was constructed around one of his most endearing and charismatic characters, the eponymous Cat in the Hat.
Like a lot of other Disney rides, the Cat in the Hat is little more than just an elaborate retelling of the story we all know and love. Sally and her unnamed brother are bored, the cat strides in to entertain the kids, the fish puts up a fuss, the cat does some tricks, sets things one and things two loose, causes chaos, and the boy catches them and the cat cleans up the house for them.
Dude, seriously, no spoilers. We talked about this.
Although really, am I giving away that much?
Anyway, that's essentially the plot of the 1957 book written by Geisel, which is now printed globally in 27 different languages. And just like many of his other books, the cat even got his own 30-minute animated cartoon.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there a full-length movie made about it too? You know what? Let's go check it out.
No! Stop.
Whoa, what's wrong?
Don't you remember what happened with the Country Bears?
Oh! That's completely different. See, that was based on a mediocre attraction. This is based off of one of the world's most beloved books. They'd have to really go out of their way to louse this up.
Alright, sure. Let's go then.
Looks like them critics boys is about to let the cat out of the bag.
You lied to me!
I'm sorry!
It was worse than the Country Bears!
The description on Netflix was deceptively misinformative.
Now stay down there and think about what you've done.
Okay.
I'm sorry for that uncharacteristically violent bout of anger, ladies and gentlemen, but let's be honest. The 2003 live-action adaptation is almost completely unwatchable, has an 11% rating of Rotten on RottenTomatoes.com, and is virtually universally panned. It was so awful. Audrey Geisel, the late author's widow, now won't let anyone make a live-action version of her late husband's books. You find all your teeth?
No.
You'll live.
Sad to say, the DVD's for sale in the ride's gift shop. Seriously, the guy from Austin Powers and Shrek? That was someone's idea of choice casting?
The ride itself, however, is much, much better. Utilizing some of the same ride system technologies as Men in Black Alien Attack, you board your couch, set your lap bar in place, and soon you get whisked away into the kid's house and experience the cat's tricks firsthand. Fish lecture you, things literally run amok, and the cat gleefully calls out to you from virtually every turn. Too bad here you don't get to shoot lasers at your targets.
I know, right? Thing 1 and Thing 2 are already making such a huge mess of the house. Why not let us in on the fun?
In fact, speaking of those things 1 through 4 shirts are probably some of the most popular shirts sold at Universal Orlando Resort, if not all of Central Florida. Hardly a day goes by where we don't see anyone wearing one. Or 2 or 4.
Don't you find it odd that they don't sell red and white striped smokestack hats? Since Disney's made such a vast fortune on those mouse ears and all the many alternate character designs, one would have thought that such a hat would have been a no-brainer.
I'll bet the cat threatened a lawsuit if he saw his style got ripped off.
What, Things 1 and Things 2 can't get lawyer representation?
The Cat in the Hat locks them in a box, remember? If they don't have union reps going after the cat, I'm fairly certain copyright attorneys are probably out of the question.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So let's not waste any more time than we have to. Let's discuss the Cat in the Hat ride.
What did you think about it?
Well, I like this ride, but I certainly don't love this ride. It's starting to show its age a little bit, and it's definitely could use a little work.
Yeah, this is definitely a kiddie ride, first and foremost, not gonna lie. Because it feels so simple in its inception and design. Because like I said, it's just a recreation of the book itself. And the effects are very, very simple. And one of the things I noticed first in it was most everything is nothing just white space on the walls.
Well, I actually had kind of a point about that. I mean, you are going through the pages of a book, and wasn't most of the book space white anyway?
They were, but I think they could have gotten a little bit more creative than that, than just white space. Yeah, it looks a lot like the book, but it just feels lazy at the same time. The effects aren't all that great. This definitely needs a refurbishment at least sometime in the near future. Like they have the scene where the little boy throws the net down on things 1 and things 2, and it just kind of goes down as it comes down. It wasn't very fluid at all, and there's that whole scene where the things 1 and things 2 are running around. They got the clothes flying all over the place, and I guess what they used was a ceiling fan or something. And I just remember looking up at that, and I'm just thinking, really? That's it?
Well, there's a certain amount of simplicity you can get away with on attractions. Definitely attractions targeted for kids.
Right, but I mean, look at the recently deceased Snow White's Scary Adventures, or even better, Peter Pan over at Disney. Those are very, very simple rides, but Disney still goes out of their way to do like the headlights on the streets of London when you're flying over the city. Right, but essentially what I'm saying is that they go out of their way to make an effect look good and impressive, even if it is just a simple little attraction. And unfortunately, that's just not the case here. They just feel like, well, it's Dr. Seuss. They do this, this, and this. Let's add a little movement here and a little white space, and voila. And I don't want to say it feels like it was just thrown together. It's cute, it works, but I think it could be a lot better than what it is.
Well, Cat in the Hat's audio animatronics certainly aren't my favorite that I've ever seen in the park, but yeah, I think it's a certain amount of acceptable for kids. But for those of us who are a little bit older, and I mean, we grew up with the stories.
Yeah, of course.
But it just feels like they could do a little bit better. I'll give you that. I'll concede that.
Oh yeah, and the pacing. The pacing of the ride, it really leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. Because you go in, you see one scene, then you go around the corner, you see another scene, you go around the corner, see another scene. It doesn't really blend very well.
No, I think it's because, I mean, it is kind of like turning the pages of a book. But even so, I guess you are right about that. Its pacing could definitely use a bit of a...
Seuss's books have a lousy time being adapted into any other mediums, whether it's cartoons, books, or movies.
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean, sorry, cartoons, movies, and of course rides. But this is something that could use some help. But I do have to say, the queue of the ride is probably the best part, because it's made to look like the exterior of the house. They got the bushes. They even have that cross-hatch shading, very Seussian style, and they've even put out the quotes from the books around on the walls and the bushes.
I think that's a pretty cool touch.
And even right across the way from the loading platform, they have like a model of the cat just kind of breezing by the window, waving at you. I think that's really cute.
Really? I didn't notice that.
Well, next time we go, we're going to check it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to point that out to you.
Yeah, definitely do that.
So,
what about your rating, Tap G?
Honestly, I'm giving it a 2.5.
Dang, it's like you read my mind or something. Because I'm actually going to give it a 2.5 myself. Like I said, I like the ride. I don't love it.
Yeah, it's a great ride. It's worth at least one ride through.
All in all, though, the ride is definitely worth a look if you're a fan of Dr. Seuss's work.
Oh, Seuss.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that. Fun fact, everybody. His famous pseudonym is actually an anglicized pronunciation. In reality, Dr. Seuss is really Dr. Seuss. The man who wrote 48 children's books of great fame was actually a recluse. He chose to avoid making waves by not correcting the mispronunciation. So to this day, we still call him Dr. Seuss.
I think it fits, though. It rhymes with loose, like his drawing style.
Now we come to one of the most important parts of our show, the health restrictions.
Yeah. This may be a kid's ride, but, just listen to this. You should not ride if you are pregnant, If you have heart issues, have high blood pressure, have back or neck problems, or if you're prone to motion sickness, or if you're sensitive to fog effects, I don't recommend this ride for you.
Assisted listening devices are available to those with hearing disabilities, and the ride is wheelchair accessible. However, if you're traveling in an ECV, electric convenience vehicle, or a scooter, you'll need to transfer to a wheelchair before going in.
And while there is no height requirement per se, handheld infants are unfortunately not allowed. And kids need to be at least 48 inches to ride alone, or they must ride with someone at least 14 years or older.
Oddly strict on kids for a Dr. Seuss ride, don't you think?
Ironic, huh?
If you're traveling with a service animal, just speak to a ride attendant before going in. They'll point you in the right direction.
Also, Universal Studios is very specific when it comes to guests with severe disabilities. They ask that you be able to grasp the bar with at least one upper extremity, independently remain upright, absorb shock in the ride's sudden and dramatic movements, and control one's head and neck for the ride.
It's a rough ride, folks. Not as rough as some of the others at Islands of Adventure, but certainly turbulent enough that you'll probably want to hang on.
So, if you're a fan of Dr. Seuss, this is a no-brainer. Ride it. Check it out.
It's definitely a kid's ride. Adults who grew with Seuss's book will certainly have a blast too, but preteens and teens will probably think it's a little too silly and a bit too wild for older guests.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we have for this week's episode. And what better way to close out than with our own Seussian rhyming? So take it away, mysterious narrator person guy. Thank you, Surfer Clock. Thank you, Tap G. I'm so delighted with your hospitality. You think he does this all the time?
I'm more creeped out that there's an omniscient narrator in the room.
You get a point. Thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure. And visit Sala Sulu at your earliest leisure. This was What's the Attraction, your park-going station with Tap G and Surfer Clock, where their work is your vacation.